takes 15 people 2.5 weeks to produce an individual piece.
That's extraordinary.
And in fact, 2 of the people involved in that process actually have their PhDs in color. So it's very, very high level, and there's several of the curators of the museum that are also involved in the production of each piece. They're limited to 260, of which the museum's going to keep 50 pieces for themselves to use for educational purposes. And as you can see closely, if you look here closely, you can see actual cracks in the paint, the crack material.
Yeah, and that is just extraordinary to see all the detail, the exact representation.
This is the exact, precise representation. In fact, if you put this side by side with the original, we have literally fooled curators of museums that could not distinguish which was the original and which is it. We have a seal on the back of each one that is not removable, that clearly tells that this is a reproduction. The number of the reproduction is 260 pieces, but as I said, the museum is going to keep 50 pieces for themselves for educational purposes. And so there's literally 210 pieces available to the world. And this has been a controversial subject matter, that we could do something at this level.
Well, it's kind of frightening to think that, because I mean, if truly someone wanted to start knocking off reproductions,
exactly.
I mean, they really do have that technology now that stands right in front of us. I mean, I'm videotaping an absolute exact reproduction down to the minutest detail. I mean, this is a 100% reproduction.
Correct.
It's 100%.
Yes, it is. It's absolutely indistinguishable, except for a couple of things. First, we have a seal on the back of it.
Right.
And this seal is not removable. And it says it's a reproduction, and it's a limited edition.
So I'm talking super glue.
Beyond super glue. Actually, if they try to remove it, they're going to damage the canvas, so we can always tell.
Yeah.
But each piece is going to be certified by the museum and registered. So the owners will be registered with the museum.
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to track exactly where each piece is.
This is amazing. So I'm going to try and back up, hopefully back up into anyone, just so that people can get the overall sense of that piece. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to watch just the flaws on the canvas where it's actually been rubbed accidentally by mishandling over the years.
Right.
You see right here. You can also see over here, there's a scratch on the surface.
Yep.
And that's in the original, obviously. There are cracks and chips on the paint down here, and there are even areas...
so this, I'm assuming, was 3D photographed and got...
No, it wasn't 3D photographed. It's really very extensive technology. Once a year, this piece is taken off the wall in the museum and down to the basement,
and
where it's checked. And during that process, people from Fujifilm Belgium come in and scan this with some very highly technical new equipment to get the depth of each brush stroke and precise reproduction of the relief. Once they have the relief has to be attached to canvas. It then has to be printed by special printers that are used because we're not printing on a flat surface.
Wow,
so
that's extraordinary.
It's very extraordinary. And during the process, it's continually checked and monitored by experts.
Got it.
And so actually, I think out of every 10 they produce, I think they throw out or discard about 3 or 4 pieces.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a very costly process to do.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Right, and a lot of high-paid people, and the idea here is to create an entire piece, not just the front of this piece is reproduced. The frame is reproduced exactly and precisely.
Oh, I see. Okay, so the frame
by the same company in England that makes them
from the beginning.
From the original molds.
Got it.
So the frame is an exact reproduction, and the back of each piece is totally reproduced.
Right.
Because the museum sees this as a whole object to be enjoyed.
Gotcha.
Obviously, this is a product, and it's being sold as a product.
Right.
And it's really designed for collectors who love Van Gogh, absolutely love Van Gogh, would like to have one. And of course, this piece is not available at any price. The original's worth about $153 million, I believe, if it was for sale. But it's not for sale. It's never going to leave Holland because it's a national treasure.
Got it. Unless someone's very motivated in some underhanded way.
I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen.
Wow, this is beautiful. Thank you, Les, for that.
Sure.